welcome everyone. This is my very first ever ASMR stream, and I'm excited and I'm nervous. So, if you don't know who I am the Megan Bytes, and get ready for story time. I like to travel, and I have been to 4 other countries outside of the United States, and this story in particular happened in Canada. Well, as most of you know, in the United States, that the drinking age is 21. Well, in Canada, you can drink at 19. I went to go visit my friend in Michigan, and she was like, "Hey, let's go to Canada." And I'm like, "Okay." I thought that sounded like a cool idea, 19, never been out of the country or anything before. So we went to Canada. It took us about 30 minutes to get there. It was Windsor, Canada. And it was a group of us. I didn't know anybody there because it was my friend Casey's friends, because I was going to visit her. And so we had a group of about 4 or 5 girls and maybe about 4 guys, and it was 3 vehicles to get all of us there. We went through the border, and it was absolutely fine, and we told them actually that we were going to a casino, but we were really going to a bar/club. And again, we were 19. So we secured a table, and we would leave one person there just to make sure that nobody would put anything in drinks or steal the table or anything like that. Well, it was my turn to watch the table, and this guy came up, and he was obviously intoxicated. And I do not smoke, but somebody had a lighter on the table, and this guy walked up, and he was like, "Can I use that lighter?" And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't know whose lighter it was. He went, "Ch, ch, ch." On the third ch, this giant flame shot up out of the cigarette lighter, and he had a unibrow, and it caught on fire. So I had been drinking myself because it was legal where we were, and he was patting his eyebrow. I say that singular. He was patting his eyebrow out, and I'm shaking him furiously. "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" But wait, there's more. And if you see me look over at this direction, I'm checking my chat because I have dual monitors. Well, it was getting late. It was after midnight. It was probably about 1 a.m. It was getting super, super crowded, and we went up to the bar, and we got something to drink. There was a guy there, and he was pinching all the girls on their behind, and it was so crowded that nobody could really see, could tell what was going on. Well, unfortunately for that guy, he pinched the wrong girl, because she immediately told her giant boyfriend, and he started a fight, and the bouncer broke it up, and then after that, he got into it with the bouncer. The bouncer was not having it at all. By now, another hour had passed. The bouncer picked him up, and the whole front of where this bar/club that we were at was glass. The bouncer threw him through the window like it was a cowboy movie. Now, I don't know if you can tell from my accent, but I'm from the South. and stuff that they do on videos, I mean, on movies and stuff, they may, that it's not current day. So this was crazy witnessing this myself. I turned to my friend and I'm like, I want to go home. I want to go back to the States. I just saw a guy get thrown through a glass window, and then a meter maid looking car pulled up and got the guy, and they zip tied him and they put him in the back and they just puttered away. It was the craziest thing that at the time that I had ever experienced. But like I said, I was 19. I see people said holy flames. I have other stories. I've also been to England, Jamaica, and Mexico. So that was my Canada story. It actually went by kind of quickly. So this is my very first ASMR stream, and I hope you're enjoying it so far, and I hope I'm doing a good job for you all. I hope it's good entertainment. So I'm trying to think of which story I would like to tell next. I have several from England. I think I'll talk about Jamaica next. Well, the whole reason why I was fortunate enough to get to go to Jamaica, I was going to school for surge tech, that's surgery tech. And if you don't know what that is, that's when, if you've ever seen on TV, if someone says scalpel and then somebody hands them the scalpel, that would be me at the time. Well, my lab partner was a very, very sweet lady named Angela, and she was old enough to be my mom. Actually, she had a daughter a year or two younger than me. She was planning a trip to Jamaica for her family. It was going to be her husband, her daughter, and her mother. Well, her husband could not get off of work. I know personally, I'd be like, I have to go. I have a trip to Jamaica. Well, she had this extra ticket, and being a broke college kid that I was like, I'll give you $300, and that way you will not miss, you get something out of it. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. So we went, and anyway, she agreed. She was like, yes, you can go ahead and you can come on the trip with us. And that was actually like a dream come true. I mean, I got a $3,000 trip for $300. I'd say I won. I hit the lottery. Well, she and her mother shared a room, and I shared a room with her daughter, who I did not know. We went to Jamaica. We went to Negril. It's the home of this 7-mile long beach. Absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Warm sand. The ocean. You would walk out all the way to your chin, and the waves would not go above your nose. It was fabulous. Of course, we were kind of in a little cove area. Well, one particular night, Robin, which is Angela's daughter, the girl that I was staying in the room with, she was intoxicated, and she had informed me earlier in the week that she could not swim. The place we had, there was a pool. Yes, Belbo, that is absolutely correct. Hey Teddy, how are you? I'm in the middle of telling a story of when I went to Jamaica. Well, Robin had locked the door, and I had climbed out. She had been gone for a while, and I realized I haven't seen Robin in a while. She has the key. Oh no, we're right across from the ocean. She can't swim. She's drunk. What are we gonna do? So I tried the door. It was a skeleton key. So when you locked it locked it from outside and the inside. The only way I could get out, I had to climb down the balcony. Luckily, I had a garden room, and it was the first floor. Well, I climbed out the balcony, and I went to the pool area, and here she is, floating in the pool on a float. And I just, I ran up to her, and I'm like, oh my God, Robin. And I got her to get out of the pool, but I kind of dragged her out of the pool. And we went back in, and that's one story. Another story I can tell you is how I dealt with solicitors, people trying to sell you stuff. Well, this is probably the third day in. I just wanted to try something, so I'm like, hey, play along. I just want to test this out. So I started arguing. Well, first, that's not true. The very first time I did that, I pretended like I spoke another language. The guy, started asking what language that was because he could speak several languages. So that was a fail on my part. So later that day, I couldn't remember if it was Angela or Robin, but I said, let's play along again and see if this works. I said, don't take any offense to anything I say. I started arguing with her right before they approached us, and when I did, they just kept on walking, and they started soliciting the people behind us, and I'm like, oh, that worked. Oh wow, I'm gonna try it again. So again, you couldn't walk 20 feet without someone trying to sell you something. So I did it again, and it worked again. So for the rest of the trip, anytime anyone tried to approach us to sell anything or to go ask us if we wanted to go on trips or tours or just sell us out, goods that they made. A lot of people there sold bracelets. They made bracelets and then they sold them. And it worked the entire rest of the trip, and it was great because I got to enjoy Jamaica without anybody trying to hustle me. But people there were quite interesting. I remember I did go on a catamaran ride, and while we were waiting for that, this lady was walking around and just shoving her baby into people's arms and said, hold the baby, give the baby $1, give the baby $1. Thank you. You asked how long I was there. I was there for a week, and it didn't take too long to fly down there. I live in Tennessee, and I flew out of Memphis. On the trip back, we actually waited on the tarmac because there was something wrong with the engine, and it made me miss, and we were on the tarmac for hours, and it made all of us miss our connecting flight. I actually missed my connecting flight by 30 minutes, and so we had to stay in North Carolina overnight and then fly out the next morning. But we were on the tarmac for hours, and they wouldn't tell us what was wrong, and then we had to physically walk off and go walk while we were on the tarmac and go to another plane. So I hope you all are enjoying this so far. I was trying to remember if there was any other stories that I had from Jamaica. Well, I guess the catamaran ride. So, I love the ocean. I love it. The sounds of the waves are so soothing. Going in and out is so relaxing to me. I love it. That is my go-to. I actually have 2 apps on my phone that I have ocean sounds, and if I'm ever stressed out or have anxiety, I will listen to those, and they will relax me. And anyway, so we went on this catamaran ride, and we went out to this beautiful, beautiful area where there was cliff divers, and you could look down before they were letting us off. You could climb up a rope up the side of this cliff, and it was over 100 feet in the air. And you could go to this bar, and if you bought a shot, they would let you jump off the cliff for free. I was too chicken to do that, so I didn't do that. But I enjoyed watching other people, and they also had people that would, for tips, they would dive off and do flips and do all kinds of crazy stuff, and it was really cool to watch. But while we were there, we looked down, and they were the captain of the catamaran was like, "Guess how deep this water is?" You could see all the way to the bottom. There was a log down there, and you could see all the fish. It was really crystal clear. And we guessed maybe 20 feet, but it really looked like it was 2 feet deep, because you looked like you could reach down and touch the bottom. It was over 50 feet deep there. It was absolutely amazing, because truly you can look down and it looks like you can just scoop up a handful of sand. It was so beautiful and so wonderful. So that would have to be my most favorite memory of Jamaica. Let's see. I guess since I'm staying on the ocean theme, I will tell you about the time that I went to Mexico. I went to Isla Mujeres, Mexico, which is a little island, maybe 15-20 miles off the coast of Cancun. Oh, Bilbo, to answer your question about the Jamaica thing, I did not at the time get out of the water to swim in the really clear, but yes, while I was there, I was in the ocean. And a funny story, I'm very, very pale. I'm very, very pale. Before I went, I got a spray tan at a local tanning salon, and the very first thing I wanted to do was go and just get in the ocean. And so we unpacked, and I walked out there, and I'd say I went about waist deep into the water, and then I came out. However, when I came out, the top half of me was tan, and the bottom half of me was as white as a sheet of paper. The salt water washed it away. I didn't know. So I had to go ahead and go swimming to go ahead and let the abrasiveness of the salt wash the rest of my spray tan off. Okay, now back to my trip to Mexico. So I went to go stay in Isla Mujeres, Mexico, and when we already had somebody. This was, you know how they see in, you see in movies where people have a sign with your name up. They had my name up. They had it spelled wrong, but actually they had it a totally different name. But I'm kind of used to that with the name that I have. People call me different things all the time, and I'm okay with that. I've accepted it at this point. Well, I mean, people were trying to grab you right there, as soon as you were about to leave the airport, to try to sell you tours and places to stay, which I did not understand, because if you're booking a flight to Mexico, you already have a place to stay. So I don't know what really they were getting at there, but anyway. So the driver drove us to the dock, and the place that we were staying had a yacht that was going to pick us up, and so the ride down was wonderful. And then on the way back, they didn't want to, because nobody else was going back to shore except for me and the people that were with me. So, and the owner of the place he owned several resorts, and he was from Sweden, and he would go and check a couple of times a year. He would go to his different resorts. So the owner asked us while we were checking out, he was like, "Do you mind if you ride back to shore with me in my personal yacht?" Because we were the only ones going. So we were like, "Sure." So we got on. It was a lot smaller than the yacht that picked us up on the first trip, and the water was very, very rough. And I'm kind of small, and at the time I was barely 108 pounds, and I'm 5'1". The water was so choppy, I was flying out of my seat, and I was holding on to the seat for dear life. And I looked over at the owner, and he was just laughing. He thought it was so funny, but the water was very rough and very choppy. But while I was there, Isla Mujeres is a very tiny island. It might be 2 miles long. We rented a golf cart and we went to the other side of the island, and that's where all the shops and kind of touristy areas were. And that's where we kind of got our souvenirs to bring back to people back in the States. And and it was really cool. You'd see iguanas on the side of the road, and we saw a house that was, the roof had dirt and grass on top of it, but it was well manicured. It was kind of neat. And you saw where hurricanes had been through and, had destroyed houses, and it had some ruins there, ancient ruins, but really didn't go off there. The water was so beautiful. It looked like, I don't know if you're familiar with Sonic, but the drive-in place, but they have a drink called ocean water, and it is very, very blue. The water there was that color blue. Absolutely gorgeous. And if you haven't noticed from my stories, I love the ocean. I love water. Like I said, the sounds of it is so relaxing. Just not the ocean, just water in general. I love the sound of water. But I love the lapping on the shore. Just the sounds is so soothing and relaxing to me. And then they had some, I went on the little beach, and I had my toenails painted a hot pink color, and I had these fish that kept trying to nibble on my toes, and they were the same color as sand. And at the very tip of their fins, they had an orange stripe. So, and that's the only way that I could see that they were fish, and that scared me because everything almost in the ocean has teeth, but they were tiny little fish. So I got out, I seriously doubt that they had teeth, but still, the thought was in the back of my head, and it kind of scared me. I enjoy thunderstorms as well, Potato. I love the sound of rain. My my grandfather had a metal roof on his house, and to just sit on his porch during a rainstorm and hearing the sound of the rain pitter patter tippity tap on the roof is so relaxing. That was the only two places that I would say that was, well, I've been to North Carolina where I've been to the ocean, but those two places, Jamaica and Mexico, are the only places out of the country. Well, when I did go to England, I did go to Dover, and you could see you could see where they had you can look one way over the English Channel, and there was France, and they said the other side was Germany. Well, my friend that was there, when I went to England, I stayed with several friends. I just kind of crashed at their house while I was over there. And so I guess that makes me want to jump over to England. And I have several stories about England. I'm going to stop and take a drink really quick. Hold on. Funhouse. Actually, I'm using OBS, and I just have my mic at let me move my mouse over here. Between -35 and -30 decimals. So basically about halfway up, and that's the only thing that I've adjusted. Okay. I don't have any kind of mixer, and I do have a Blue Yeti mic, and it is kind of hot, so, but I did a test a little earlier. I did post 2 other videos that are 4 minutes long. I did post them on YouTube earlier. I made a video earlier today, a guessing game of sounds, and I've also did one of me being Southern and talk about living in Tennessee. And it was funny because right in the middle of it, a crop duster went over the house, and you could hear it so clearly. Okay, so I guess I should start talking about my time in England. I have so many, and I was only there for a week, but I stayed with several different people, so I have several different stories. And I hope you are enjoying this. This is my very first ASMR stream on Twitch, and afterwards I'm going to put this on YouTube, and I'm having fun, and I've had so many people request this because they do like my voice. So I just decided to do a ASMR stream. So when I went to England, I would say I was 23 or 24 at the time. I stayed, like I said, with several different friends. One friend I went to a wedding with, and another one I went down and saw Dover. I got to see the cliffs of Dover. You could actually see where they had where they would have little holes where they would have cannons to shoot across, and you could see holes where cannonballs have been shot into the cliffs as well. And if you want to know how pale I am, when I took pictures in front of the cliffs, my skin tone was the exact same color. I blended in perfectly. It was almost like camouflage. Um, well, also while I was there, I went to Canterbury Cathedral. And if you've never seen or heard of Canterbury Cathedral, I would highly recommend looking it up. It was very interesting. They also have people buried in the floor, and I mean, stuff. You have to think England is very, very old, and here in the United States, if something's 100 years old, that's very old to us. And it was so cool because they had cobble streets, and it was just really cool. And but I remember going to Canterbury Cathedral, and you can walk on the grounds, and it was just very, very beautiful. I think cathedrals are beautiful anyway. But we were walking around, and like I said, you could see where they had. I guess I'm not exactly sure who all was like buried underneath there, but they had some when you were walking around. And I said something to my friend that was with me. I'm like, oh, don't step there because somebody's buried. It was on the walkway in the cathedral, not in the main like sanctuary portion, but throughout the rest of the church. And it happened to be some tourists there, and they heard me, and they jumped off super quick, thinking that they were walking over somebody's grave. See, I was trying to think of what else. So I went up north, and I went to a wedding with a friend. She had asked me, would you please go with me to my brother's wedding? And I'm like, sure, I'll go to your brother's wedding with you. First, nobody informed me that, in America, typically, we don't wear hats to weddings. And we usually, now it's more typical to wear, you can wear black or navy. But a lot of times, you would see lighter pastel colors. I was wearing a pale yellow dress and nude color heels. I went, and they typically stay in a lot of time in their class when they get married. Well, her mother and father was a lord and lady, and he was an airline pilot, and he had money, so I guess it was okay that they got married. Well, we went, and I stuck out like a sore thumb. I was not wearing a hat. And I was wearing a pale yellow dress. So their ceremonies was slightly different than what you would expect out of an American ceremony. Bilbo, I'm not exactly sure who those people were. They were buried again. I don't know if they were monks or if they were important people or what, but I remember one of the dates, I believe, was 1400s. I did go to another church when I was with another friend, and it was built in the 1300s, and I actually signed their guest book. And I thought that was really cool and interesting to see something so old. And I actually wanted to touch the stones because I was like, can you imagine the history? If it was built in the 1300s, could you imagine the history that this building has been through? I just thought that was so, and it's funny because I'm a germaphobe, but I have a particular things that I do touch. I I love soft and fuzzy stuff or something that looks interesting to me. Um, Getting back to my story at the wedding. So we went, and afterwards, they had the reception, and my feet were tired, and they had rented out this whole. It had a spa area, and I know the next day they were going to be walking the moors, and you could go and walk the moors with the bride and groom. I did not, however, wake up early enough after that because there is a 6-hour time difference between the UK and Central Standard Time that I'm in. So we had the reception, and then afterwards, they were dancing and whatnot, and my feet were swelling because I was in heels, so I went back to my room, and I sat down for a little bit so I could rest my feet. And while I was gone, they played Cotton Eye Joe, and they were looking at me, going to try to find me. Personally, I would have been mortified if they would have played Cotton Eye Joe while I was there, because just because I'm Southern doesn't mean I'm a redneck. But they also had, I don't know if she was an older aunt or if she was a grandmother, but she was, I believe, from England, but she was living currently in Germany at the time, and she kind of had a German-English mix of an accent. Well, she was sitting down, and everybody was, approaching her, and she got up and came over to me, and I was very surprised, and she was like, "My dear, you and I are novelties here." And it was funny because then we chit-chatted very briefly, and she complimented me on my manners, and I thought, what did that mean? Just because I'm Southern doesn't mean I don't know how to act properly. But she told me I was well spoken and that my manners were impeccable. I just thanked her, I nodded my head, and I walked away, and I went and I found my friend, and I was like, what the hell was that? I would like to thank you all for hanging out this far with me as I give this a try. Like I said, this is my very first attempt at an ASMR stream, and I'm very happy that my mocap is staying pretty much on track. Oh, I'm glad, Funhouse. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I've had so many people request that I do this, and because they liked my accent, but I didn't think you would really be able to hear it during whispers, but apparently you all have assured me that you can. I had to take a drink there. Sometimes when I take a drink, my tracking is off my face and it might look funny. I was trying to think what else. When I was flying back from England, there was quite a bit of a wait, and I heard an American accent, and I haven't heard an American accent in a week because I was there that whole time. So I just walked up to these people, and I'm like, I know you don't know me, but I'm so excited to hear an American accent. And they were excited as well. They were actually missionaries, and they were on their way. They just came from one country, and they were headed to another. So I sat down, and I just chit-chatted with them for a little bit, but that was fun. On my way to England, this was the first time that I've really flown by myself, and it was a very, very long way to England. So I flew from Memphis to Chicago, and then from Chicago to England. Well, like I said, this was my first time traveling by myself, and I didn't know how to get to the international area, and I had asked a security guard how to get there, and he was like, oh, you go up the stairs, turn to the left, go to the right, go downstairs, go. I mean, it was just a very, I wouldn't have been able to remember the directions that he gave me, and you would have to take this little tram, this subway to like this area over there. I was very, very lucky that a lady heard me say that, and she said she was getting ready to head over to that area as well, and that I could follow her. Her husband, she was a diplomat for her country. I can't remember where she was from, and she was also married to a diplomat from a different country, and so they were never together. I had an hour that I had to wait till my flight, and we went and we had coffee together, and she was telling me about it, and it was actually kind of sad, but the lady was sweet. She said she got to travel a lot and she loved it, and she said her husband loves to travel as well, and they would get to see each other maybe once or twice a month. I know personally I would not like that, because I would want to be with my husband if I was married, but you know, they were doing a service for their country, and I have to admire that. Potato said, Noctis and his rowboat. He's referring to somebody that I play with on games on some. He's also a fellow streamer, and he is from England. Bilbo, if you wouldn't mind, would you give Noctis a shout out, please? That would be his stream. You should check out his stream sometime. I was trying to think that that was all of my international travel. Oh, when I flew into England, I didn't do any of the tourist things. I went to different areas of England. Like I said, I stayed with a few friends, and I just kind of crashed at their house. I did have a very nice couple from Birmingham that was sitting with me, and they pointed out Big Ben and the Tower of London and stuff like that as we flew over, but we were going so fast, it was very hard to see. I did see the Ferris wheel though. Thank you very much for giving him that shout out, Bilbo. Ah, the London Eye, yes, the Ferris wheel, the London Eye. I could see that because that's very obvious. But when they were pointing out, we were flying into Heathrow, so when we were flying in, it was very hard to be able to distinguish the different areas, and they knew what they were looking at, for and at, and I really didn't, because it was my first time in England. I've been to I typically go to Florida because it's like a 8 to 9 hour drive depending on where you go to northern Florida from Tennessee, and a lot of people from Tennessee go to Panama City Beach, Destin, or those type of areas. I haven't been below Orlando, but I've been to Jamaica and Mexico, but I'm talking about in the U.S. I typically go to northern Florida. So I don't have a lot of stories about Florida. I did go to Orange Beach, Alabama once, and I remember driving through Mississippi, and for 4 hours there was not a gas station. And I didn't need gas, but it scared me because I thought, oh no, if I need gas, there's no gas stations. So the very first gas station I saw, I pulled in even though I didn't need gas, because I was scared that I wouldn't be able to I was scared that I would run out of gas and be nowhere near a gas station. Hey, Faceless, how are you? Yes, better safe than sorry. The very first time I saw the ocean, I was 18 and I went to North Carolina, and the water was very, very cold. I was surprised. It was June and the water was very, very cold. I went to Buxton, North Carolina. And also, a few years ago, I try to do something special for my birthday every year. My birthday's May the 1st. Not to really get into a long story, but I was told 9 years ago, in the month of April, 9 years ago, that I had a year to live. And so my birthday is May the 1st, and so not only is it my birthday, but I beat my death date every year. So I try to do something special, and I didn't get to do anything special this year for my birthday. So I'm hoping to maybe soon be able to go on a trip, but I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to tell you about when I went to Texas, and I was 30. I drove all the way to Texas to get a bunny. I saw my stomach just growled, and I have my noise gate down, so I don't even know if you heard that or not. You heard my stomach growl? That's funny. Let's see. So I drove all the way to Texas to buy a Netherlands dwarf rabbit. It was about 30 minutes out of Galveston, and I had never been to Texas before. So I went with my friend. My stomach's growling again. So me and my friend Ashley and my cousin Rebecca, I'm surprised. She was a teenager. She had never been out of Tennessee, and she had never seen the ocean. So I asked my uncle if she could go, and he agreed, and she let us go with us. I wanted to avoid Houston, so I drove through Louisiana, and I went to I drove around Houston. I got to bypass Houston, and we went to Galveston, and it had just stormed. It was a torrential downpour, and there was a lot of flooding in Louisiana and in Texas at the time. And actually, the lady had lost several bunnies because the flooding was so bad that the hutches were underwater. She had a separate farm where she kept the bunnies at, but my bunny was safe. That's funny. Potato's from is currently living in Texas, and he said every person in Texas wants to avoid Houston. So that was my first time I went through a toll booth too. So anyway, we went to Galveston, and it had been storming, and we were staying right across, and we went, and my little cousin got to see the ocean. I feel bad that it was all stirred up and muddy looking at the time, and I had to reassure her that I promised that all the ocean didn't look like that, and that I wish it was prettier for her. Well, like I said, me and my friend Ashley went, and along with my cousin, and we met a couple there, and we got to hang out that night, and I'm pretty outgoing, and I don't meet strangers, so it was fun. We got to kind of hang out, and we had a few drinks, and actually the wife, she added me on Facebook, even though we haven't spoken since, but I've seen, her post and whatnot. So we went, and I got my bunny. I named him Cinnamon Maxwell, and I called him because he had a pedigree, and pedigrees kind of, you have weird names. But I called him Max, and he was a very spoiled little bunny. He had a 2-story hutch that looked like a log cabin, and he had all the toys he could ever want, and I give him treats all the time, just didn't like his nails trimmed. It won't let. I didn't happen to see those messages, but thank you for that, Bilbo. I don't know who said that. But that was the time that I went to Texas. So I actually have not been. I do like to travel. I've only been to 20 states, but I've been out of the country 4 times, and I'm currently waiting for my passport to be renewed. My passport expired, so I'm just waiting for that to come out. I sent it off maybe about 4 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I would love it if you all could give me some feedback if you think this sounds okay. I'm just talking low now, or do you prefer it if I whispered a little more? It's totally up to you. I can do both. I just want to do whatever sounds best for you all. So this is a whisper, and then this is just me talking low and a low. It's still kind of a whisper, but I'm going to say low because it's not like this. Yeah, I was about to say, weren't you in the military? So where all have you been? I actually have been lucky. Like, my trip to Canada was just because I went to go see my friend in Michigan. My trip to Jamaica was because my Surge Tech lab partner, because her husband couldn't make the trip. And then in England, it was a very expensive flight. It was close to $3,000. And that's why I just crashed at several friends' house, because after I bought that plane ticket, I didn't have money for a hotel. I can't believe my stomach is growling. You prefer the low talking over the whisper? Okay. This has actually been a lot of fun. I have another hour to go. Yeah, my passport expired. Just waiting on that. I would love to go to Carousel. Carousel is it's owned by the Netherlands, and it is out of the hurricane belt, and they're known by the ABC Islands. It's Aruba. It's Aruba, and it's more, well, they have a tropical side, and then they have a desert side of Aruba, and then there's Carousel, where I want to go. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then they have Bonaire, so they call those the ABC Islands, and it's a lot closer to the equator than I currently am. I'm in Tennessee, and then so they don't have to worry about hurricanes, and the temperature is pretty much, the same all year round, and I would love to go there. And it's actually not that expensive to go. I was looking to go there, and I was also looking at possibly maybe visiting Puerto Rico, because those two, they're very, very affordable. A lot of places in Florida are, over $300 a night. And if I stayed, let's put it this way, if I stayed 3 nights in Florida, I could go and I could stay, nearly a week in either Carousel or Puerto Rico, and it's like almost the same price with airfare and hotel as I would just going to Florida, and it would be, a new experience, and it would be beautiful. I really suggest that you look it up. It's absolutely beautiful. I know, Everett. I saw your potato and you've been to Kosovo again and Korea. Oh, that's interesting. He said, actually, Korea was fun. The rest could go down. That's funny, Faceless. I have a friend. She's actually Korean, but she was born and grew up in Russia. She lives here now. She's been here maybe 11 years. She didn't speak any English when she came over here, but her parents moved from, she had an aunt that, I believe it was her mom's aunt that lived in South Korea, and my friend's dad had cancer, and they went over there because they had more, I guess you would say, experimental cancer treatments then, because in Russia they pretty much had given up hope, but they moved to Korea, and I believe he lived about 5 more years, and he just passed away about maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. Currently, my mic on OBS, it's in between -35 and -30 decimals. And I have my desktop background in case I had any bits or new followers, anything. I have that down to -50 decimals. Because it's very, very loud. My fan is running. When I run Megan, my fan runs, and you would be able to hear my computer. I was gonna look, and yes, I saw what you said about thinking about the Beach Boys song. And it's funny because I have talked about Aruba and Jamaica. So I was gonna tell you how to spell carousel in case you would like to Google it and look it up. Of course, you could always just Google Aruba, and carousel is right next to Aruba. Because like I said, they're known as the ABC Islands, and it's right off the coast of Venezuela. But carousel is spelled C-U-R-A. It has a C with a little squiggly mark underneath, so I don't know technically what that's called. A-O, and I will spell that for you again. C as in cat, U as in unicorn, R as in rain, A as in apple, C as in cat, A as in apple, and O as in orange. I had to think of what started with O. And they speak primarily, I believe, Dutch there. love the Caribbean. If I could move there, I would. I love. And it's funny because in the States, I love Tennessee. I wouldn't want to move anywhere else. I'm from West Tennessee, and it is so, so beautiful here. I mean, everywhere that I've traveled, I always look. I'm so sorry. My stomach is growling like crazy. No matter where I go, I love coming home. Like, I do not like East Tennessee. I am not a mountains person at all. And you would think, as pale as I am, and I do not tan, I joke around and say I'm ultraviolet white. I mean, I burn. I can go outside and in 10 minutes I have a sunburn. So if you look in my bathroom cabinet, I always have at least 3 bottles of sunscreen. Hey Deviant, how are you? I'm trying something a little different. I'm doing an ASMR stream. This is my very first one. Yeah, that's right. Potato, the further south you go, the more sunscreen. But me, I just need sunscreen as it is because I'm very, very pale. But I love, and it's not necessarily swimming, or I love the sand. I love looking at the water. Of course, I love being in the water, but and I love looking at videos on YouTube of like diving and stuff like that. There's a very good YouTube channel. It's called D Almighty, and it's this guy named Jake. He does a lot of stuff and they dive, and he does a lot of stuff here in the States, but he just recently went to the Caribbean, and he did some diving and stuff there, and he shot a bunch of video underwater. It was absolutely gorgeous. I love watching shipwreck videos too. On I don't care if it's YouTube, Netflix, Hulu. Well, I guess it wouldn't be on Hulu, but if I can, where they dive underwater, even if it's with the, submersibles or anything. But so it doesn't matter if it's submersible or if it's, an actual person. But I love watching the videos where they dive and they go and check out shipwrecks and stuff like that. I mean, I don't believe in past lives, but if I did, I would totally lived in the Caribbean. I am doing well, Deviant. Thank you so much. I actually had a really good day. But yeah, so I absolutely love the ocean. But you can there's a lot of ways that you can do trips and make it affordable. So, like I was saying, Puerto Rico is very, very affordable, and Carousel is. And the reason why I picked Carousel over Aruba is because, they do have Aruba does have a tropical side, but it does have the desert side as well. But Carousel is not as touristy and is not as well known. And when I go to places, I like to go to places that that's kind of off the beaten track. Well, I wouldn't say necessarily off the beaten track, but I would say not as touristy, because I don't like doing stuff necessarily that tourists do. Like when I did go to Jamaica, I did go to a waterfall, and so I'd say that was probably the only touristy type thing. Well, and I did do the catamaran ride, but pretty much I just like to chill out. I just want to sit on the beach and dig my toes in the warm sand and let the warm sun just shine on me and listen to the waves crash. And to me, that is absolute heaven. Nothing could get any better than that. Just talking about that is so relaxing to me. I mean, just imagine sitting on the beach. You hear the sound of the palm trees as the wind rustles the leaves, and you feel the warmth of the sun on your face. You slowly dig your toes into the sand, and you feel the warmth as you immerse them in. You hear the sound of the ocean in the background as the waves lap up on the beach. And if that's not your version of heaven, I'm sorry, but that's mine. Carousel. I mean, Reese, I just read your comment, faceless, but I've been watching this real estate show on Discovery Plus. It's called Caribbean Life, and they buy real estate in the Caribbean, and I mean, some of these places are really affordable, but some of them, are crazy out there. Virgin Islands is crazy, stupid high. Of course, real estate is going sky high anyway, but these places have been really affordable, and I just like looking at the views because they do stuff. They'll go, zip lining. It's funny because I'm not scared of heights. I would never bungee jump, but I would go zip lining. I think that would be fun. Actually, I didn't know about the Kokomo Beach, but that's funny because that was in the song we were referring to as well. Potato said maybe in my next life I'd be a mermaid. That'd be awesome. And actually, living in the South, it's so humid here, and with evolution and whatnot, I don't know how we haven't developed gills because it's like breathing soup here. It's so humid. No, I would never skydive. I'd be too chicken to do that. And yes, Potato, listening and watching water is it's really, really nice. I absolutely love it. I'm not sure who you're calling he, but I'm a girl. Everybody, please play nice. I'm a rum and coke. If I'm gonna drink something, I'll drink rum and coke. That's funny. He said he's short but scrappy. How tall are you, Faceless? I'm really short. I'm 5'1". 5'5". You're around the same height as Potato. He's around that height. Potato, are you 5'5" or 5'6"? I can't remember. I believe the shorter the I can only speak for girls. I was making a joke the other day with me being 5'1". I believe the shorter the girl, the sassier we get. I do want to give a shout out to my mod Bilbo. I do appreciate everything you're doing. It looks like everyone in chat is keeping you on your toes. So I do appreciate you. Thank you. I see a Shadow's here in chat. I think he just has chat pulled up. I haven't seen Shadow. That seems about right about short girls. But that's pretty much all my travel stories. Yeah, so like I said, I usually, if I go to the ocean, well, I've only, so I've been to that was, I went to North Carolina, Florida, and Texas, and that's where I've seen the ocean in the United States. And I did see the ocean in England. I did see the ocean, of course, in Jamaica and in Mexico as well. I could not get over that water in Mexico. It was in, like I said, I went to Isla Mujeres, which is a little island off of Cancun. You could see the lights of Cancun at night, from our balcony, and it was absolutely gorgeous. But that water was so pretty blue, and I have no idea why my stomach is growling so bad. I actually ate before I got on, so I do apologize for that. I think Japan would be really cool. I used to work with a nurse practitioner from Japan, and she was going to go there this year, but because of quarantine, what she and her family would have to do with quarantine, because of COVID, and as precautions, she didn't go to Japan this year. Hawaii, I would absolutely love to see a black sand beach. And I know this is crazy, but so you know how everybody kind of collects stuff? I collect sand. And if somebody's going to a beach, and especially somewhere that I know that I'll never go to, like I have a friend in England who works for the government over there, and he goes on like 6 vacations a year, and he goes to like Greece and Italy and really cool places. And I always ask for sand because I'm like, I'll never get to, go to these places. So that way, a little bit of these places get to come to me. And, I kind of have a thing about beaches. Okay, potato. LA, are you referring to Los Angeles or Louisiana? Because that can go either way. I've never been out. I've never been out west. I've never been to California. But what I was saying is, Hawaii has a black sand beach, and I would love to see that. But the water in Hawaii is too rough. I can swim, but I don't think I could. There's no way I could swim in water that rough. Um, but they shot Lost in Hawaii. From what I understand, I think there's a black sand beach in Puerto Rico as well. Because I was talking about going to, to Puerto Rico, but I'm serious. It was around the same price as going to Carousel, and Carousel was way prettier. And like I said, you don't have to worry about hurricanes or anything else. So I think it's really cool. I haven't been on vacation in 4 years. So I am dying to go on vacation. I was going to this year, but some stuff came up and I didn't get to. You're scared of the ocean? I mean, I don't. I have a thing. I like to be able to see what I'm swimming in. So I think I would be more scared swimming in a river than I would the ocean. But I wouldn't want to be like dropped in the middle of the ocean or anything like that. I mean, I want to go in and I'll go up a little bit above my waist, but you know, um, I am short and I am kind of small, so I'd be kind of scared it would, kind of wash me away. But I love water. I do. I don't know what it is about it. I love water. And that's pretty much the extent of my travels, unless you just want to hear about Tennessee. Now, there is a place here, several areas that you can go float down the river. There's, I've never been, but I want to go. There's the Buffalo River and there's Current River. And there's a place in Middle Tennessee called Cumming Falls where you get to hike for a mile and then you see this beautiful waterfall and they have like this pool area underneath. It's absolutely gorgeous. But I heard, I don't know if it is Current River or if it was the Buffalo, but one's pretty kind of rough. Rapids wise, you could either float or you could do a kayak, but I don't want to float. And there is one place that I want to go, but I don't want to say it because I want to do it, and I've had stalkers, so I don't want to actually say it. But there is a place that I really, really, really want to go, and it's it's a little over 2 hours from me, and I want to go. And they have tubes that have like backs, and the center of it is covered, so you don't have to worry about getting your butt wet or anything. And it's crystal clear water, and it's not above your knee. It's like below your knee deep. Well, I should say below my knee deep. Yeah, I'd be scared of like sharks and stuff. But I would totally, if I was in one of those cages, I would totally, and the cage was like out of the water, because I've seen videos of actual sharks, getting inside the cage. That would freak me out, so I'd want it kind of like out of the water. But I would so do that. I would so get in a cage and just look at sharks. But I would want to make sure that those metal bars are, well secured, and that the shark couldn't get in and get me. I think that would be kind of cool. I think that would be cool. But like I said, I would want the cage to be out of the water, because I've seen videos with it fully submerged, and the sharks jump in, and that would be so scary. I would not want anything like that. I would love to learn how to scuba dive and stuff like that. I think that would be so fun, because I know I love water, but I have a fear of drowning. So like that kind of scares me. So I don't understand how I have this love of water and scared of water at the same time. Do you now, Bilbo? But to do it in all these places, you have to be certified. I think there's a place in Kentucky that certifies people. Anyway, not that I would be able to do that, but I think that would be cool. Yeah, I'm having so much fun, and I'm so glad that you all are here with me and are experiencing this. And if you all like this, and if I get good feedback from this, I'll do another stream like this, if you all would like it. I mean, I'm still gonna play my games, but just to mix it up and have a little variety. If you all like this, I would totally be down to do another stream like this. Like I said earlier, I recorded 2 YouTube videos, and I've already put them up on YouTube. My face might look a little funny because I'm about to take a drink. I haven't flown in an airplane in a very, very long time. Because usually if I go to Florida, I'll just drive because it's only like an 8 or 9 hour drive, and that's what a lot of people do here. Guys, if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna be right back. I need to get a refill on my water. Um, I already drank my whole glass, so I'll be right back, okay? Alright, I am back, guys. Oh, I don't have my headset on. Let me put my headset back on. While I was up, I grabbed 2 pretzels, tiny little pretzels, while I was getting my water, and I was hoping that would make my stomach stop growling because I'm not hungry. I ate right before I got on. So, if this is the first time that you're seeing me, I'm the Megan Bytes. I take the videos here from Twitch and I put them on YouTube. I'm also on Twitter, so feel free to follow me here, especially on Twitch. Go ahead and hit that follow button, but also give me a follow on Twitter if you'd like. I am the Megan Bytes on Twitter. I post before I start streaming, even though I do have a schedule, but if something comes up for some reason and I don't get to, I will post that I will not be on. And also, like I shot 3 weddings back to back, so there was 3 Saturdays that I did not stream, and which I did give you all a heads up, but in case there was somebody that didn't remember or they forgot, I reminded them on Twitter. So I had to look to make sure that I had my mic back on. I have the worst habit of forgetting that to turn my mic back on. For example, I'll call Bilbo and and I'll be there talking, and he can't hear me because my mic's muted. You only saw it happen once. So, does my audio sound okay? I was messing with it. I had to turn the noise. I didn't turn the noise gate completely off. Here, but I did turn it way, way, way down. I do have to remember after my stream to bump it back up. That way, when I stream again, that you won't hear everything. I need a new keyboard because you can hear me go. Look, I just posted. That's called Cat on the Keyboard. That's actually my hands. My stomach is growling like crazy. I'm so sorry. And actually, since I'm just testing this out, I have different scenes in OBS because I'm on different platforms, and I'm on the one from the different platform, and the one specifically for Twitch, I have my my alerts, like when I get follows or bits or cheers or anything like that, like it'll come across the screen. But I'm in the other one, and I didn't think about it until last moment. But anyway, if I do this again, I'll have to set it up on my other stream scene on OBS. Excuse me. Cool, faceless, cool. Her eyes going back and forth, I'm just watching. That's pretty much the end of my story. And I have 35 more minutes. So, what all would you all like to talk about? So, I thought that was hilarious today when I was recording those videos from YouTube. And, I mean, I could not have timed that better. I was doing one about the South, and a crop duster went over. I mean, what's the luck of that? I was talking about being in the South and living in the country, and a crop duster went over. And I can't, where I grew up in the country, literally in the middle. I don't want to sound too stereotypical, but I did kind of grow up on a farm, but it was like they were pets. We had ducks and peacocks and chickens and stuff like that. But, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate that. But I literally did grow up in the middle of 4 cotton fields, so I'm used to crop dusters. But living here, I do live in a small town, but it's weird because I've never heard a crop duster. And the street that I'm on, there's across the street, there is a field behind some of those houses, but it's like really, really small, and it's not enough to be, not enough for a crop duster. Thank you, darling. So, I really appreciate that. Thank you, Faceless, for that. I appreciate that. Faceless just gifted a sub to Josh. Yeah, so I thought I would do something a little different. I've had a lot of people, actually I didn't realize that I was doing like an ASMR while I stream sometimes, and I really didn't realize that I was doing it, and a lot of people have pointed it out, and and they've enjoyed it. So I have decided to do a test stream and do an ASMR and just give it a try. I just saw Faceless said his stomach is reacting to my stomach. Um, I love Italian food. That is my favorite food. I love Italian food. And my stomach, I see I'm talking about food, my stomach's gonna start growling. But I did I made it. I can't cook very well. I'm all about ingredients, 5 ingredients or less meals. So I have one. I get cheese ravioli, I get spaghetti sauce, and I get shredded mozzarella cheese. I will pour some sauce in in a baking dish, and then I'll put a layer of the cheese ravioli down, and then I'll put another layer of sauce, and I'll sprinkle a good amount of the mozzarella cheese over it, and then I'll do another layer of the cheese ravioli, the sauce, and then the cheese, and then I'll bake it at 350 for about 12 to 13 minutes until the cheese kind of gets a little bubbly. And I don't even cook the cheese ravioli. The ones that I get are, you're supposed to cook them for a few minutes, but I'm putting them in the oven anyway, so it's okay. I mean, they're not like hard like if you got macaroni noodles or anything like that. They're a little soft. Anyway, I bake it for, like I said, 12 to 13 minutes, and then I get it out, and it is wonderful. Thank you so much, Faceless, for giving that to Funhouse. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry at all. My stomach's just growling. I've been drinking water, and I don't know. This is weird. I have no idea why it's growling. Also, I'm just going to admit I'm a little nervous about this because this is my first ever ASMR stream, and I was just a little nervous about how it would work out because I kind of get where I like to get my settings exactly like how I like them, and then I like to just leave it alone. And I had to go in and I had to mess with a lot of stuff on OBS. I use OBS Studios. I do not use Streamlab. So I had to go in and mess with a lot of stuff like the noise gate, and then I had to do some stuff with, positioning with my mic and whatnot, and also trying to see, I did some tests, and also I have my mic turned down tremendously in about halfway in OBS as well. I'm in between negative 45 and negative 40 decibels. And I'm going to tell you, I do not get nervous at all. I can literally talk to a fence post. It does not bother me at all. But I get excited when I talk, so I'm having to actively try to remain calm, because normally you can hear the inflections in my voice of my tone change. And I get very excited and I talk. I can talk loud. And I'm trying not to. And I'm trying to stay far enough back where my mocap tracking can track my face, because I can't get really close and talk like this, but then it won't show up with Megan talking. So instead of whispering, I'm just trying to talk very, very low. Oh my god, Josh, that is so sweet. I'm going to read out loud what you said because I am going to put this on YouTube later. And I realized that I'm not on my Twitch screen, so the chat's not going on my screen. I have it set up. This is my other platform setting. So Josh just said, Megan, you're without a doubt the greatest human being ever existed. Swear you're nothing but positive and feel good man vibes into every situation. And I do want you all to know I do have anxiety really bad, and I've had some bad stuff happen to me lately with, well, both of my businesses have closed, and they're both like my babies. And I'm human. Everybody gets depressed, and I was 2 weeks ago. I was in a pretty dark spot, and I've been in a really good. I've been in a really good place for like 4 days now. So I really appreciate that. But I really am. I'm a positive person. I'm an upbeat person. I'm a caring person. I will do something for somebody else before I do for myself. I mean, look at my career, for example. I work in healthcare. I hope you all cannot hear my stomach because this is so embarrassing right now. Oh, thank you so much, Faceless. Because I'm serious. I love talking to you all. I really do. I enjoy this immensely. And so I'm glad that you all are enjoying this as much as I am, because I do. I love this interaction. And I get to be me. I'm literally sitting here in my pajamas right now. I'm in gray and white polka dotted pajama bottoms and a gray t-shirt, and I have my hair in pigtails. I am not lying. Okay, I'm just a little, I am never nervous about anything, but I guess because I'm a little out of my element here, but I love doing new things. I love experimenting and trying new things. So, I really appreciate the good vibes you were sending out there, Josh. Yeah, that's the fun house. I do have my volume. I am speaking very low, but that was kind of the whole point of the ASMR. I can't get really close and talk a lot, lower, but I just want to, instead of whispering, I just want to talk kind of low. And I know that, and I have my mic set to, one direction. I can't turn it to omnidirectional, so it'll be all the way around, but, I just trying to capture my voice right now. And, I know some people are liking sound, like this is my nails clicking. But some people aren't into, sounds, and they just want to hear voice. So I kind of would like to do like 90% voice and maybe 5% sounds. I did do a YouTube video. Like I said, I did 2 today, and one was talking about, my accent and living in the South, well, living in Tennessee. And the other one was a guessing game. I did some sounds, and I wanted you to guess what the sounds were. And for example, one of them was a Hot Wheels car. You could hear the wheels turning, and I thought that was kind of neat, kind of out of the box. Well, it's out of the box for me. It might not be for ASMR, but it's out of the box for me. And like I said, I like doing new things and trying new things, and this has been a great experience, and I've enjoyed it. I hope you have too. And like I said, if I hear good feedback, good things about it. I'll do another stream like this. I don't know. Um, I don't know what happened with the ASMR thing. Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened, but I just thought I would give this a try. See, I didn't even realize when I've been streaming here and on like other platforms and stuff. Now I know you heard that one. That one's very, very loud. um, I didn't even realize that sometime I do kind of a light ASMR. I didn't even know what ASMR was until a few weeks ago. I mean, I didn't realize that I was doing it. And then I had so many people reach out to me and say that they enjoyed this. So I just thought I would give it a try. You can go ahead with details. I mean, it doesn't matter. But I'm keeping this clean. I have not said anything wrong or anything that I shouldn't have. I talked about travel and about crazy stories that has happened to me when I've visited other countries. So that's just kind of what I've been doing. Oh my god, Faceless, that is so sweet. I'm gonna, like I said, I don't have my chat on my screen like I normally do. In OBS, you can have different scenes, and I've been working in Unreal Engine to work on Megan, because soon I'm gonna start streaming in Unreal Engine. So I have a stream for that. I have one for another platform, and then I have one for Twitch. And I didn't do the one that I have specifically for Twitch. And I'm only going to be on for 20 minutes, and it would take a little bit to set up the chat in here. But I can. Well, I wonder if I can do this. Look at this. I'm gonna try to add. Okay, it's media source. I'm gonna try to add. Oh wow, there we went. Okay, I have a chat box now on my screen, and I'm gonna move it over to the side. Okay, so that went off my screen. Now I should have chat on my screen. Ah, I gotcha. Well, I want to read what Faceless said because it did not come up on my. That was before I had the chat window up here, and I had to remember off of this scene that I'll need to delete the chat box. But Faceless said, "Hang on, let me scroll and find it." I don't see where it is. Ah. Anyway, he said something very, very sweet, and I just appreciated it. Especially because, like I said, for 2 weeks I have not been in a very good place, and now, for the past 4 days I've been in a really good place. And we're all human. We all have emotions, and we all go through things, and we experience things differently. For me, it was my two businesses basically closing within 2 weeks of each other, and they were kind of my babies. I put my heart and soul into it, and then I haven't been able to get Megan's I can't get the blueprints right for Megan's face and her body to work together with my mocap. So I just been kind of frustrated, and I haven't been in a good place, and I've been working tirelessly and relentlessly. But like I said, I'm in a really, really good place now. And if anything, this is a good I'm making this public. If anything, it would say, it's okay, you're not alone. It's okay if you feel like that sometimes. Don't do it to the point where you feel like harming yourself. At that point, you need to reach out and get some help. I do not feel like that. I was just really, really bummed out, and I have anxiety and whatnot, but I'm still kind of figuring all this Twitch stuff out, so I apologize. But I hope you enjoyed my stories. Josh, you came in a little late, but I talked about my trips to, I'm trying to remember the order. I talked about my trip to Canada, and then I talked about when I went to Jamaica, then Mexico, and then to England. And then I just started talking about like oceans and stuff like that. I have briefly, for just like maybe a second, I can play like an ocean sound. Let me find the app, because I have two of them on here. My phone did an update. It's like I'm trying to remember. Isn't that so relaxing? I should have had that playing as I was talking, and that way it would have had the ocean in the background as I described the beach. Maybe now would be a good time to describe the beach again. Imagine sitting on a warm sandy beach, the warm sun on your face. You can feel it on your skin, on your arms, on your legs, on your body. You're digging your toes in the sand. You hear the water as it's slapping up on the on the sand. You have a nice cool drink in your hand. I'm southern, so it'd be iced tea. And then you can hear the sound of the wind and the palm trees behind you. And you just sit there and you relax. And you totally calm. You're totally chill. Okay, that was my my description of the beach. Faceless said earlier. Oh my gosh. Funhouse lives really close to sand. Where are you from, Funhouse? You don't have to say specifically if you don't mind just telling me the state. But Faceless was saying, here's what I learned about. Oh, I don't like Meg, by the way. I just Megan. When I hear Meg, I think about Family Guy and Shut Up, Meg. California. Oh, that's right. You've told me that before. I apologize. I remember you telling me that now. I've never been out there. I'm gonna replace Meg with Megan Faceless. I learned about you so far, Megan. You are very resourceful and a very skilled person, and I mean well. You're a very impressive person and awesome. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I've put a lot of work into Megan. I really have. Actually, I put a lot of work into everything I do. My photography business, my cosmetics company, everything I do. I put my all into everything. And I think that's why I was a little bit nervous about tonight's stream, because I've never done anything like this before. That's okay. You didn't know about the whole Meg and Megan thing. And for those of you that are just joining or listening for the first time on YouTube, because I will put this, I'm currently streaming on Twitch, and I take the videos from Twitch and I'll put them on YouTube. I am the Megan Bytes, and I would appreciate if you just hit that follow button. Okay, that's fine. But I do appreciate you all hanging out with me tonight, and I want to thank you, Faceless, for giving out those subs. I really appreciate those as well. And I tried to turn my desktop sound down in OBS in case that came through, because I know I'm talking really low and the volume is probably loud, and the volume is loud, so you can hear me, and then I hope that isn't very loud in your ears. It's been weird. Like I've kept the chat going for pretty much like this whole time, and now, believe it or not, I've run out of stuff to say. Oh, I'm in the middle of a stream and you're asking me to go to Discord. The special stream. What? isn't in your Discord server special channel. My special streaming channel, that's a voice chat channel. I'm doing ASMR. I'm only want me in this. I don't want anybody else talking. Oh, you're talking about mods. Mods only. Okay, thank you, Shadow. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, I thought you were talking about my. You said special, and I thought you meant special streaming, but you meant my mod chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Shadow. Thank you. Well, guys, it's 6 minutes till I've been on for 2 hours, so I'm just gonna go ahead and call it. I pretty much have talked non-stop, and I've just, believe it or not, I've ran out of stuff to say. So, I appreciate everybody that has been in here, and I really do appreciate every single one of you. And if you wouldn't mind, please hit that follow button, and if you're watching this on Twitch, hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that follow button. And I'm also on Twitter. I am the Megan Bytes on Twitter, and I make tweets before I go on stream, and afterwards I sometimes I give shout outs and stuff. But anyway, I want to give a shout out to my mods, Bilbo and Shadow. Bilbo has actually been very busy this stream, especially during my during my travel stories and stuff. He was very active as a mod, so I really appreciate that. But anyway, I want to say I appreciate both my mods, Shadow and Bilbo. And again, give me a follow here on Twitch, give me a follow on Twitter, and give me a follow on YouTube, and hit those subscribe on YouTube. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but I just want to let you know that I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful night. And I will be back on Twitch on Monday night, and I usually kind of wing it to see what I'm doing, but I'll more than likely be playing a game and not doing ASMR, but I'll let you know. Like I said, I tweet about what I'm going to be doing. So anyway, I hope you all have a fantastic evening, and I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much.